everybody. It is a bonus podcast of Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham, of course, because nobody else is foolish enough to do this. We're at the SIG Sauer Range Day at SHOT Show. It is a phenomenal day, about to kick off, and we've got all sorts of crazy things planned. Lots of new product, but also just crazy activities going. And we're joined by two of the key people at SIG. Well, at least they told me they were. I don't know if that's really true or not.
No, we're making it up.
Yeah, I figure. That figures. Well, with Phil, I would believe that, John. Exactly. John Brasseur is a brand new vice president at SIG, right?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Cool. So your background coming into this is what?
I worked in engineering at SIG for about 4 to 5 years, and then I moved over to product management, and I've been doing that the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, cool. All right. And Phil Strader, of course, who has been, he's kind of a new guy in the shooting game, but, you know, we're bringing him along and doing everything we can. So
don't think I don't appreciate it, Tom.
Yeah, I know. You know, and Rob said to send his best.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. Is he still alive?
Phil has been shooting and winning competitions for quite literally decades now, partner.
Yeah.
How about that?
Ever since I was out of high school, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much right, boss. My first major win was in 2000. So, yeah, this will be my 19th year at the top level. Yeah, it's insane.
You still shooting or you give it up?
No, I'm still shooting. I just finished the Nationals in 2019, the big 9 days of Nationals, and I was fourth overall aggregate, which is basically a combination of all 3 of the matches put together.
Huge.
So, yeah, I got beat by a bunch of pro shooters, and John can attest that I don't shoot that much. I sit behind a desk now.
Now you have a real job.
Yeah, I can tell you this, that I don't think there was one person ahead of me that could type faster than I could.
I was going to say, keyboarding skills are fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
my
good.
word per minute rate was way higher than anyone ahead of me. So.
With very few misses.
Well, yeah, that's...
Autocorrect is great, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you wish you had autocorrect on shooting?
If I had autocorrect on shooting, I'd be somebody. But, you know.
Well, all right, so, John, one of the things that people look at SIG now, and it's actually almost confusing because it's like those of us who've been around a while, we think we know what SIG is, except that SIG's not what it used to be.
No, we like to change that mold.
It's like this behemoth.
Yep.
You know, what happened?
It's kind of field of dreams, you know. If you can think of it, we're going to do it. So Ron has really put forth in front of us a vision that is, let's go try to do everything we can within this industry. Everything that is possible, let's go after it. So he loves the challenge.
That's like carte blanche. Just go do things. Like but make them good.
Yeah. That's the hard part. Is we spend a ton of time on engineering and trying to make not just a product, but the right product with the right feature set and all that kind of stuff. It's fun.
Phil, what happens when they come up with this idea for a product and then they come to somebody like you who's a real shooter? Do you sometimes look at it and go, "That's a great idea, guys, but let me give you some feedback from the shooter standpoint"?
Yes, that's one of the great things about this company is SIG's one of the few companies that their engineers don't work in a bubble. We have an amazing. I mean, we are an engineering company. That's just the way it is. But we're not surrounded by engineers who are closed-minded. They actually do. They do know the product. They know guns. They actually do know my reputation, and as far as the person behind the gun.
Oh, you mean the shooting reputation? Not the
right.
other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They ignore the other reputations, but they do take input. Quite regularly from me and from others within the business who have that end user background,
right?
And I think that's what makes us different than every other company. And I'm not saying we're better. I'm just saying that we certainly have a much more direct route to the pulse of the person who wants to put the gun in a hand and shoot it.
Give me an example of something where you're giving input from an actual shooter standpoint and going, you know, if we did this kind of a thing.
Well, I can tell you one example is the gun that we're premiering at SHOT Show this year, and it's called the 320 XCompact.
Right.
So it's what it is. It's basically a redesigned pistol from the ground up. It still has a lot of the X Series features, but as good as that X Series carry, the X carry and the X5 grip have been and have been very successful, we still are taking end user input from others saying, this is what I love about the grip, this is what I don't like about the grip, including me, but not just me. It's you know, anyone else in the industry. I don't say, hey, my word is the word. It's just my word is a word. And,
right, because I'm looking, you got big hands.
I do.
What fits your hands may not fit my hands.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing.
Exactly.
You know?
So I got a chance to take a lot of that feedback and incorporate it into the XCompact grip, and with my help and a lot of really creative engineers and industrial designers, we came up with a grip module that truly feels it's one of the things that I say you don't truly appreciate it until you get your hands on it. The same thing I said about the 365 last year.
Right.
It's the same thing with this gun, and all because of input we receive from end users. And that's just one aspect of that gun, just the grip module. That goes far beyond that.
It's interesting you mentioned the 365. The P365 is one of those change points where you guys did it, and then clearly other people are having to respond to it. But it's interesting, over the past year, every time I take that pistol and I put it into somebody's hands, there's like this moment that lasts maybe as long as 5 seconds, and they're just going, they look at their hand, they look at this pistol, and kind of go, wow, man, that feels good.
Right.
You know, they don't expect a small pistol, honestly, to feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when they shoot it, it's kind of like, oh, holy moly,
Right.
what do these guys do, you know?
It's just the attitude of the industry has always been, okay, if I'm going to get a really small gun, it's going to conceal really well, but it just can't feel good. It's never been done, and we've just accepted the fact that we're not going to be able to get a shootable, comfortable to hold micro pistol, and one that holds a lot of ammo. So we, as John mentioned, we took it upon ourselves to take that challenge and say, okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna actually make a gun that holds a lot of ammo, and we're gonna make a gun that feels good in the hand and is also small enough to compete with all the other micro pistols out there. And then we did it, and I think that's why it's so successful, and I think that's why there's so many other gun companies that are trying to play catch up, because you just can't develop a magazine like that overnight, you know.
It's interesting you mentioned, I talked to gun manufacturers all my life, and they all say, you know, it's not all that hard to invent and manufacture a gun. Making good magazines is a pain.
Oh, that's always a start.
It really is. Now, John, I want to ask you something, because I'm listening to Phil, I'm watching you respond over here. People talk about corporate culture, and that can mean a lot of different things. But within SIG, from the outside looking in, it feels as though you guys kind of have a culture now, under the current, situation, of why can't we do that? Just because that's never been done, we can't settle into that. It's like this interesting thought process, and I wonder if you could talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, whenever we come up with a new idea or a new gun, the first thing we try to understand is, what is the problem we're trying to solve, and how can we do it better than anyone else? And that's not out of arrogance. It's just we don't feel that it makes sense for us to do a Me Too. We want to make sure that we're going there saying, is there a problem? Is there something we can improve on? Is there something we can make better? And because we have people with experience like Phil, and we have a lot of guys with military experience, they come at it and say, well, you know what? You need to do this and do that and do the other. And that, combined with the engineering team that we have that's very open-minded to hear that criticism. One of the hardest things as an engineer is you develop something, you make it, you put it on the table, and the guy across the table looks at you and goes, oh, yeah, you should change that. People really have a hard time with that.
And you got your heart and soul already into this thing. Yeah.
So for us, one of the things we always do is we have that dialogue, and the engineers are so good about, scratching their head going, okay, I understand. And they go back to the table and they redraw and they rechange it, they make it different.
I'm just thinking about that process when they put it on the table. Part of the reason, I'm just guessing that, but part of the reason they listen to the people on the other side of the table is because you got a whole team of people for whom shooting 100,000 rounds is just a good year.
Yep.
You know what I mean, Phil? I mean,
yeah.
It's a different deal. I say, yeah, okay, I get out to the range occasionally and shoot. Yeah, but you got guys who are tier 1 guys. You got cops. You've got, sky marshals. You've got competitive shooters. You got people who shoot 30, 40, 50, 100,000 rounds. And when they tell you something, you stop and you say, I might want to listen to these people.
Yeah, I'll tell you, maybe one time when you have a podcast, you can come into one of our engineering reviews and hear us just go at it, because it really turns into a heated discussion, but it's always a valuable discussion where people are arguing their side and what we got to do. So the hardest thing for us is always when we get almost to the end of that conversation to stop, take a breath, look at each other and say, all right, now what do we got to do to make the right decisions for all of us? Because we all have a different opinion, but we got to have something we walk out of this room and say, that's where we're going, and let's march to the same beat.
And in the end, you need to have a product, and this is just from the outside in now, where when you put it on the table and somebody looks at it and picks it up, they go, wow. I mean, there's got to be a wow factor, because the end game of all this is to make products that people will buy and use. And if if it's a different finish, it's kind of like, really, who cares? Come on, guys. Yep. It's like, we've all been through this any number of times. A big product announcement, yeah, cool. Now we've got it in flat, dark earth. You're going, oh, man, really? Come on. I had a can of spray paint. I could have done that. Yep. But coming up with something, sometimes it's brand new, like the P365, And sometimes it's subtle things, like you're talking about grip. And honestly, a lot of times, and it's got to drive you crazy, you take what you had and then what you change and you put them on the table, and people look at it and go, I don't see the difference.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. It's not uncommon. In fact, some people have already within the company, and and it's always useful feedback, have said, looking at and I keep going back to the XCompact, but looking at the XCompact, I don't see a whole lot of difference between that and the XCarry. And they're not wrong because the differences are subtle.
Right.
But it's the same challenge that I put out to anyone. Until you put your hands on it,
exactly, you
don't realize what you're holding, and until you shoot it, you don't realize what you've got. And when I looked at when I looked at the drawings and looked at the CAD models and everything, I said, yeah, it's subtle, but it's nice. It's a smaller size, and I'm good with it. And then when I actually got to put my hands on the grip, and we made some changes to it, but it made a huge difference. And that's kind of the mentality.
People, I'm sure they get tired of hearing me say on the radio, look, you just got to get into a store and you got to put your hands on it, because the internet pictures are great and you can look at the bullet points of all the features and all that, but ultimately this is a personal thing. Your firearm is so personal to you. And when you pick it up and you hold it, that's one experience. Where if you get it to the range and shoot it, it's a different level of experience, and you come away going, I mean, how many times have you heard people say, okay, now I get it? I didn't get it before, right?
Yep.
I mean, you got to deal with that all the time.
Oh, yeah. You'll see people's eyes light up once they start shooting. It makes all the difference in the world. When you go into a store, the first thing you should do is you ask you tell them what you're looking for. They'll give you a couple options, but I encourage everybody, pick the guns up, put them in your hand, rack them, do the different things. Make sure you feel comfortable with that purchase. You've got to like what you're grabbing and not just listen to the guy behind the counter. He's going to give you good direction, but you got to make sure that you're happy with it.
You guys got so many talented people there. Where do the ideas for new products come from?
Everywhere. That's why there's so many. They come from everywhere. It doesn't matter where you work or what you do at SIG. Ideas come all over the place. I have ideas on my desk all the time from people that come up with, hey, I was doing this and I found that I needed to do something else and this is what I want to do, or I modified my grip, or I did this or did that. Ideas are all over the place at SIG.
And sometimes it's not a modification of the product, but it's a modification of the process. Because you guys, you're not just inventing new guns, you're actually inventing new manufacturing processes as you go along, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. We, if you went into our factory a year and a half ago and you went into today, you would think it's a totally different business. You wouldn't even recognize what it is. Even myself, working there every day, I don't go on the factory floor but probably twice, 3 times a month, and I have times where I go out there and I'm like, oh, all right, new machine. Okay, I hadn't seen that yet. Yeah.
It is interesting that part of the whole thing of creating a new product is to create the process to get the product through the system and out the door. So that's the part that we don't see. We just see the new gun.
Yep.
We don't know what you had to do to make the new gun.
Correct.
That's one of the things we don't seem to get a lot of credit for, is the amount of testing and work that goes into creating a new product like the 365 or when the 320, or still with the 320, or continually developing that platform, is more than any company tests. I can firmly say that we've put more rounds and more abusive testing in our polymer line of guns, our 320, our 365, than anyone in the market, just because it's that's way we operate. And let's face it, we are becoming quite a large, what you say, like a 300-pound gorilla in the industry.
You're the behemoth. I mean, SIG was a handgun company. Right. Then it became a handgun and a long gun company. And now it's a handgun, long gun, ammo, optics, suppressors, and
air guns.
Yeah, the new air guns are cool.
Yeah.
And no telling what else you're into. I mean, I don't know what you're going to be announcing here today, because for those who don't know, we're doing this right before you're having your range day, where you're introducing things and doing all kind of cool things. And you're literally going to have people jumping out of helicopters.
We are. This is going to be quite a spectacle today. And this is our our 4th year doing this?
No, it's more than that. This is definitely, I think it's a 5th year.
5th year. Okay, so
6th year. Oh,
6.
good. We had some help out.
Oh, okay.
That's right. We need help.
This is a perfect. This event has gotten so big, and I think it's because it's a proof that what we just talked about, getting your hands on the product, is the proof in the pudding. It's where the rubber meets the road, and this gives people a chance to come out and get their hands on the things and say, wow, that's impressive.
And in addition to all your Tier 1 guys, you got Max Michel, Lena Michalik, and Daniel Horner. some pretty fair shooters.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
You know,
yeah, they don't.
And they're going to be out here like trying to set new records. And
they are. They're
cool stuff.
They've done a few. They've got a few records that they're going to try to. They're always, like I said, they're always trying to improve and trying to get better. And so they're going to come out and if they break it or don't break it, it's going to be impressive to watch.
I'm going to say it doesn't matter when they shoot. You pay attention because they're that good.
They are that good.
They really are. So, can you give us like any hints of where the company is going, new things that are coming, or areas you'd like to move into? John's being real quiet over here.
Yeah, I'm going to default to John with that one.
The sky's the limit.
Oh, thanks a lot. Oh, parachutes, cool. I like it.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you never be surprised what you're going to see out of this company. If we see an opportunity to disrupt the market and make something better and bigger and more usable, then we're going to take that. We're going to do that.
I do want to mention before I'll let you guys go. One of the things that yes, you can buy all these SIG products, and you can a lot of them, not the guns, but there are a lot of stuff you can buy online. But another way that people can take advantage of the SIG expertise and heritage is at the Academy. And I think it's starting to get the attention it deserves. It's a phenomenal world-class facility. And that's not because of the physical facility. It's because of the people who are there.
Yeah. I actually took a couple classes there as instructor development classes to become an instructor out there. And, I'm very critical. I've been teaching for a long time. And I can tell you that I was really impressed with the caliber of instructors out there so far, and they don't get the credit they deserve, and I'm glad to see that they're finally starting to get that recognition.
And the amazing thing is, anybody can go there. People come from all over the world to go there.
From the best shooters to the beginners.
Yeah, from grandma to SEAL, Delta, Ranger, whatever it is. Right. I mean, you never know who's going to be there. Now, you may not be there when they're there because you may not be allowed to be there when they're there, but that's okay. But it's a cool place. I just wanted to mention the Academy is a phenomenal thing for us, but also obviously a great resource for you guys when you're talking about products and everything else that goes on there.
Yeah, that's one of our main resources we go to as far as getting external feedback. You were talking about, who do we talk to and where do ideas come from them, but they also criticize the ideas and, tell us, hey, you got to make these changes. And a lot of times when we build guns, we are running those guns over there, and those guys are shooting them and running them for
they beat them up.
Weeks. Yeah, they beat them up and come back with a checklist of, hey, fix. So
that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you want it right when you get it out to the public.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. This has been great. SIG, of course, is going great guns. SIGSauer.com on the website, right?
SIGSauer.com, and also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put all of our latest videos on.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, and have a good day out here.
All right, thank you.